Hey, hello. Welcome to Heal with Dawryn again. My name is Dawryn, and I am again here with my Sarah, helping us heal the mother wound, talking about the partner issues, about healing the mother wound, going into how the benefits of healing the mother wound, and how it really organically and realistically comes through, because it's paid off, right? So thank you so much for joining us for podcast 6. This is amazing. Thank you so much for joining me again. Having you twice is a blessing. And I'm holding your coloring book and I'm looking at single tasking. Like single tasking. You know, one of the things, or one of the myths, or one of the things we were lied to as women is that we are multitaskers.
Exactly.
And it's something that we've worn. For a woman who is not a multitasker, she's been shamed.
Yes.
In fact, I have friends who, when they think they are trying to laugh at me, they say, Dawryn doesn't focus on more than one thing at a time. Internally, because I'm healed, I'm like, they don't know it's a joy.
Yes.
But just tell me, because when I say this, I know it's something that you came up with when you were healing, when you discovered about your a few things about your attachment style and all that. Anyway, so for this podcast, 3 things I want us to talk about. From your healing experience, I would like to know how, we talk about healing the inner child, becoming the supportive mother to yourself, and seeing that we're coming from a background where even we are cut off from what is motherly. We are cut off already. The relationship between daughter and mother is skewed with either enmeshment or toxicity, right? Then now that mother doesn't get to embody to us what is natural, right? Through how we don't get to connect with what is natural about us, what's transient. Then we have a patriarchal society that makes being mother itself seem like it has a lot of shame attached to it, in the sense of what is cyclic about us, what is transient about us, what is intuitive about a mother, what is emotive about a mother, was shamed. Oh, you're too much. Oh, there are good feelings and bad feelings. Like, our feelings were not allowed to flow through us nicely.
Yes.
You feel them, you're like, do I even have permission to feel?
Exactly.
We're coming from a place where we even forgot that intuition has a purpose. We felt like fools even saying that my intuition tells me.
Yes.
We had, and that's what's natural about us. That's what brings out the mother aspect in us. So in this podcast, I would want you to talk about how you found your space to be able to heal the mother in you, so that you can bring out a better mother that has turned out to be a creator. You've created a child, in your along your healing journey. But how did healing change your parenting style? Then we're also going to talk about emotions, being able to feel them, now sitting with them. Because, also growing up, not even just based on the mother that you have, but coming from the culture that we've come from, we had to adapt using perfectionism. And what it does is that it has caused a lot of numbness. It has caused a lot of emotional bypassing, spiritual bypassing, toxic positivity, in the sense of not being able to feel, like not feeling was not a skill that was trained. So our emotional environment is really very small. I want you to talk to us about how emotions changed for you, how you started seeing emotions as messengers, your thoughts as messengers, as opposed to attaching to them, and how you healed, or how you're healing your attachment style, and which one it was. Then number three. I
hope you'll repeat them.
Number 3, I am talking to women a lot about, reclaiming our sensual prowess through squatting. Owning our squats, owning our squatting orgasm. You've healed your womb. Some things have come through, and you're like, did you expect this to come with the healing? Because this numbing that we've done also numbs the vagina. It numbs us that we're not even able to feel and give feedback to our partners. They numbed us because shame sits in the womb, guilt sits in the womb, and sitting means they block something. What they are blocking is sexual energy. What they are blocking is capacity to feel aroused, to feel him on the inside. And yet I see when women start healing, I don't even need to teach them how to squat. Their bodies just squat. So tell us. I will get you to certain place. Because the whole point of this is so that we can own our desires. It's so that we can have the freedom to talk about sexuality as something that is divine. It's ours, and that there's nothing wrong with feeling it as long as you have your boundaries, you have your resilience, your control, your self-control, your capacity to say yes or no, you're in a state or in a safe place, right? But there's a lot of shame. The shame that we've carried, it's affected our careers, it's affected our relationships in different ways, but also it affects our sexuality. And yet without sexual energy, my Sarah, we are numb women just going through life without feeling. We can't empathize. And if we are empathetic, we are toxic with our empathy. We fix people, we have a mother wound, we have a sister wound. What looks like empathy is actually manipulation. Right? So it's affected that, but then gets to affect your capacity to really feel this desire well in you, this energy well in you, and makes you a pleasurable being, a joyful person, eventually a woman who can be able to be receptive and be totally feminine. Senor, not so. So taking you back to the first place. Question one.
Yes.
What's your attachment style?
Now I'm working towards having a secure attachment.
Good,
yes,
that's a
yes,
good place.
yes,
So
yes.
you're recovering.
Recovering.
You're recovering multitasker.
Yes.
To a single tasker.
To a single tasker.
Yes. Breathwork must have led you to that place. So what else led you to that place?
Oh yes. Like I had mentioned with the journaling, and then also being able to identify it. Because before you're just sort of going through the motions, but then you're able to understand, but then where is it coming from? It's coming from the abandonment wound, so maybe you're more codependent, or the anxious attachment, so you're consciously, obviously worried and conscious of it, but without unconscious of it rather, that I have to do the people pleasing so as not to be rejected, so as not to be abandoned. But as now is that this is where I am at, these are my boundaries. And I found that you find your tribe of people who will accept you in that space that you are in. Yeah.
Talking about boundaries, do you think women know what they want? This question has been asked, but really, do you think women know what they want when it comes to sex?
I think someone who is not aware of their wounds, a wounded woman may not, but healing and healed, because I guess it's a process, it's not, it will be forever. A healing woman does know what she wants because she's also able to articulate it. I think the problem with the wounded women is maybe we know what we want, but are unable to articulate it because the wounds are heavier. And the sense of rejection, abandonment, that fear is more than our desire for what it is that we're trying to express that we want for ourselves. Yes.
Interesting. So I have noticed that both parties, women are complaining, no, we know what we want. Men are saying, you don't know what you want. So this is what men say. I touch her and she pushes my hand. And then, I'm lying in bed and then I want to make love to her and then she's pushing me, or she probably even stands up. But when a man insists, when he finds you where you are and starts touching you and caressing you and then talking to you, then the woman who was like a lion is like, oh, I want more of that. That feels so good. And then she ends up enjoying the sex more than the person.
Yes.
That's what makes them think that women don't know what they want. And then also what women call rape. When men see that she got wet, he feels she was responding to something she wants. So there's a misconception about that. When it comes to desire and libido, to desire is, do I want you? Because that's where you get your either yes or no. You want to set a boundary. You want to say, no, I don't feel like sex tonight. But if for a wife or for a woman who is married, you want to get to a place where if my partner puts in a bid for connection. If I don't have desire, I feel I'm grown up enough to say, I don't know, I don't want. You need to respect me when I say I don't want. But the idea is that she's not feeling the emotion of desire.
Emotional part, yes.
So women don't know what they want, in the sense of when we grew up, because we had to forfeit our needs to take care of someone else's needs, we did not have an enough environment to actually understand our needs.
Okay.
You notice in the growing process, when we were talking about values, when we take 2 weeks dealing with, I tell you guys, this is the period when you're breaking down the house and rebuilding it. Because you have a house, you've been told these are the needs women have, right? And society has told you this is what women want. Society has told men this is what women want. But that's based on generalization. So you picked up certain needs from your culture, from your home, your home values, the church you go to, the organizations you've worked from. You really never listen to my Sarah and what she wants, right? So when we are looking at sexuality, we still take women back, like you have to break down stuff, to going back and undoing, like, who are you before they told you who you are. So you remember that process and how it takes quite a time.
Yes.
And we get to say, you have to make sure that when you're writing your values, they're not values because they will look good for the job you're doing. They should not be your value because it's what your church goes by. It's not it has to be that as you heal your intuition, actually your soul, your voice tells you who you are and what you need. When you heal the inner child, you find what the inner child is yearning for is her needs to be met. When you're hungry, when you have a yearning, when you feel like you want to be touched, you want to be talked to, and you're almost insatiable, there's a need that you've not yet become aware of. So when you start healing the inner child, she starts telling you what your needs are. So most women who have not healed actually don't know what they need, because they never took enough time to undo what they were told they need. They never took their time to actually go and also acknowledge that even my needs matter. Yeah. So you find a woman who tells a husband, I see this in their communication, why do you have to come late? I thought we were married. You know what she's trying to say? Honey, I miss you. Come home a bit earlier. What does she miss? I feel so lonely. I want to feel like I belong to somebody. Lately, I've been feeling this and this. I want to feel heard. Lately, this is what's happening. I want to feel seen. Which woman says that? We only say, you just go to drink with your boys. You spend so much time with your family. It's like I don't matter. And the man is like, what do you want? That's what they ask. They want to hear you express what you need. But do you know it? Because when you check in really, without the tears which are manipulating, because that's when they'll say, now she's going to start crying. Without the tears, because now you're overwhelmed with what you don't have a language for, that the tears are helping to soothe you. But really, if you ask, you will find, I need you to hold me. I want to feel seen. I want to talk to somebody who understands me. I want to feel understood. Maybe you've been at work and the whole week you're putting this idea, they're not taking it. You're putting in this one, no one is taking it. And you feel like you have something to give to the world, right? But then there's no one who understands you. And maybe you want your partner to be home because you want to feel understood. So it brings us to the point where if all those needs are still being numbed, guess what's going to happen? You're still not going to have a voice for them. You're not going to have the language for them, but your body is going to be numb from being aroused. So your arousal, because for you to have desire, you need to have arousal. You know, like how you meditate and then you feel that joy, instant joy. You know how you journal and then all of a sudden you feel like you can talk, you can express your emotions. That's arousal. That's turning you on. You know, when you take that walk in the morning by yourself and then let that morning fresh air hit you and you feel that joy, that glimmers, they're arousing you. When you become intentional, that when I wake up before I deal with anybody, I'm going to meditate because it makes me feel good. When I wake up, I'm going to take a smoothie instead of taking coffee because a smoothie has a way of making me feel good the rest of the day. Coffee has a way of giving me migraines. So you are removing things that kill your arousal. You're bringing in things that turn you on. So that by the time you're home, you are easy to desire, right? So that if somebody now touches you, your body gels into the moment. But now, imagine a woman who doesn't do things that arouse the body and arouse the mind. Maybe she has cognitive distortions, and mostly she thinks about, she's ruminating, she's catastrophizing, she's, like she's more in negative thinking the rest of the day. That woman is not going to be easily aroused. She's killing arousal. She's producing more of cortisol and adrenaline, as opposed to the arousal hormones like serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, So now that woman, when she comes home, she needs some time to arouse her. If she knows it, they're going to have an event about it. Because a woman's libido is an event. She can start the event earlier, or they can choose to have the event start with 30 minutes. But now just imagine if she knew it, then she would simply gel in, knowing as time goes, she's going to be aroused and have the desire for sex. But because she doesn't know it, and right now when you touch her, there's no arousal, she's like, I don't feel like sex tonight. And yet when he starts now the touch, because touch is, stimulates. When now she's hearing his voice, when she's hearing some validation, when she's hearing some promises, the things that she needed to be aroused, then now she gets aroused. It's not like she doesn't know what she wants. It's just that she doesn't understand how her libido works, how her body works. And that's those are some of the things that we never got because our mothers were just too busy. Society didn't teach us well about our bodies. We didn't get enough knowledge about our bodies. So when we start healing, we also learn how to mother our bodies, and we start noticing sex gets easier. Like you probably don't even need to see a therapist. Your emotional environment gets easier, that you're even able to express your needs. You're able to tell your partner what you want, and you're able to allow yourself to go with the flow, as opposed to limiting yourself by saying a no, which is going to turn into a yes. And then being misunderstood as somebody who doesn't know what she needs. But what does it mean for the men? The men need to know. This woman is depending on you for nourishment. What's that? You need to either call her, text her, but don't only text her about the bread and the milk, right? Get to her brain, her sexual brain, and tell her something, mostly validation. Like validate her. Do one thing during the day, right? But 5 years into marriage, there's no emotional nourishment, there's no intimacy, therefore he's not doing the work to arouse her as well. She came to get that nourished. She came for that nourishment, to feel seen, to feel like she belongs somewhere, to feel safe, to feel heard, to feel pursued and wanted. But he's not doing any of that. Avoidantly attached men will not do most of that stuff, right? Then you find yourself instead asking for them, babe, do you even feel me these days? Do I even mean anything to you these days? Like you're even looking for it, right? So if men want to change it for the women, they also need to know that because her arousal, majority of the women, their arousal is responsive. Just that when they respond again, they're going to be good. So if you're not interested in helping them, then give them that time. When they come home, let them not overdo chores in the house. Because imagine your arousal is responsive. Then you have to prepare for tomorrow. You have to help with a nanny in the house. You have to take the kids to sleep. By the time you're catching your breath, he's there waiting. Is that fair?
That's true.
It's not fair. So I think the confusion for me comes in the sense that with the wounding, we never got to really know what we need. But also in the relationship, we don't know how to ask or express our needs. And if we do, we are expressing generalized needs. They are truly not innate to who we are as people.
Okay.
I can take you now to the question.
Yes.
Given that you told me you're anxiously attached, there are certain aspects about healing, the attachment, the anxious attachment that take you away from codependence. And then you start experiencing your femininity differently. When you're anxiously attached, you have a matter wound. Of course, already from what you've explained to us, you had carried on the mantle. You burn, others keep warm. Yours is to burn for others to keep warm. That's a matter wound. You get to fix people and enable them, meaning you end up doing things for people even before they've asked, right? That takes away the capacity for you to actually allow yourself to rest, to be a mother who has healed herself, to heal the mother wound, you have to first be a mother to yourself. You have to go in and heal the inner child, but use the mothering aspects to be able to use them on yourself before you can use them on your daughter, so that you can embody to your daughter a healthy mother-daughter relationship. Because if you don't heal by using your own mother archetype to mother yourself, you continue the wounding of people pleasing. It just comes automatic, you know, of not taking care of her needs and taking care of your needs, your emotional needs. I remember a time when you talked about the fact that with Endo, you would roll on the floor and now she has to come to you and she has to feel for you. That's how she stops needing, feeling, so she can feel for you. And so, have you seen differences in your parenting style, in the way you have healed your inner child and how it has reflected on the way you parent your daughter?
I thought I was, you know, but I guess like you say, with healing, it's a bit every, you know, as you go along, you keep getting better at it. Because now you've mentioned some things I'm like, I need to work on that. But what I can say, for me, I'm very big on, like with my healing journey, for example, with also, like you would say, like for moms, moms were not allowed to rest or have time for themselves. So like for me, Mondays is my resting day, And so now we have slowly getting the boundaries of it's mommy's time, mommy needs alone time, mommy needs quiet time, so that she also understands that we can't be together all the time. And it's not that I don't love you, it's just that I need to rest so that I'm able to take care of you better. And I think that was a very big thing for me, because initially I was, you know, very, very guilty about it. Like, will she feel abandoned? Will, you know, feel rejected, you know? But it has worked out in the way that sometimes she can even just tell me, I'm just having quiet time, you know, and then now she can do it for herself, you know.
That's a sweet thing.
And because like, and like when you say that we have to, with our mothering ourselves, what I was thinking is, as much as I'm modeling it for her and that she actually brings it back to me, am I really doing it for myself, or am I just acting?
Because if you're not able to, when we didn't learn how to take care of ourselves, because you know, everything that you observe, your mother's beliefs become your beliefs. Her habits become your habits. Like basically, when now you think of rest the way she used to rest. When you think of soothing, you think of soothing the way she used to soothe. We see daughters who still have to drink alcohol when they're going through stress because their mothers only soothed when they had to drink alcohol. We see daughters who have to spiritually bypass when they're going through something because their mothers used to run and live at church for some days when they're going through something. We see, you know, like your mother's habits become your habits, or a lack of, you know, becomes a lack for you. That you end up overworking, multitasking, simply because you never allowed yourself to mother yourself. You become a perfect mother to others, but a terrible mother to yourself. In the sense of you don't allow yourself time to rest, like even draw boundaries and call it a day. Because when you do that, she's learned, you will do everything, but you get a day to rest. And that's a guarantee. That's what you've given now. You know, allowing yourself that, allowing yourself self-care. You know, even without having to ask, does everybody else have what they need? And knowing I need this will make me feel better, because the mother archetype requires us to protect ourselves. It requires us to be able to nurture ourselves, to heal, to eat foods that heal us, that are natural, that heal our cycle. And it actually comes out more in the follicular phase. The follicular phase is when your liver needs attention, is when you need to eat more of fruits and raw foods and herbs. That's when you need to nurture the womb. It's just release blood. And, you know, you need to be able to eat better for ovulation. The mother energy needs the one that makes you spruce up, take care of yourself, take, you know, rest enough, showers. You know, long showers so that you can prepare yourself for ovulation. You know, that's what it actually means. But did we see that modeled for us? Did we feel guilty when that happened? So knowing that we can do that, we are giving a different outlook to our daughters. Finally, healing. How did it heal your sexuality?
I think I would say it's just going more into the feminine, like my femininity, because I know now I was more masculine. My feminine energy. I'm just more playful.
Nice.
I'm just happier, more joyful. just, I think having that weight off me has made me more playful, more joyful, you know? Like before, it's like, what will people say? And it's like, too bad if we're going to sing as we're walking down the street, singing loudly, let us sing loudly.
Lovely.
Let's gurgle like turkeys, you know? And not really concentrating on what will people say, you know? But then it transcends to everything, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Guess what? When you play more, you become more vulnerable. It's playfulness that allows you to get into your vulnerability.
Wow.
If you're healing from perfectionism, it's playfulness, because perfectionists don't allow themselves to play. So when you can use play, you get more vulnerable, and I'm very sure you receive him much better. I will indulge you more.
That one, another story.
Welcome dancing. So what do you like doing? Do you love dancing? How do you connect with your inner, with your playful Maisara? Is it through music, through dancing? I've seen, of course, definitely through art.
With art, yes. Dancing, with music, especially like dance parties at home, and, you know, just playing with the kids, you know, things like that, and just being silly. I think that's it.
So
just
the kids allow you to bring out the kid in you.
Yes.
I love that for you. Having been parentified, and now you can allow the kid to come out and play. That's amazing. It's been really great having you on the podcast. Yeah. And I hope to have you more as you heal. When that gentleman becomes a big boy, and then I ask you, so did he? I remember our stories about, you know, the young girl and, you know, wondering, am I the one to touch her? Am I the one to show her? Am I the one to do this? So I can't wait for more of those stories of you healing. Healing doesn't end. It's just that every journey, every space makes you fuller, makes you better, makes you actualize something. So just imagine how much more when you keep doing it. And I love your process. You take it at your pace. You don't get coerced into, you know, doing everything. You pick out one thing and then you run with that one. That's beautiful. Not easy as a recovering perfectionist.
Because sometimes I feel, okay, there's all this happening. Okay, just quiet yourself. What is it? The single tasking. That is a constant.
And dosing it out. You get a bit of the wound, then you deal with it, and then you get a bit, because most perfectionists want to do everything. They want to see results immediately. They want to know, is this working or not? They want to manipulate it and all that. So thank you so much for that. This has been amazing. There's plenty more where that came from. Dawryn is my name. This is Heal with Dawryn. Don't forget to subscribe. Yay! It'll make us very happy when you do. Thank you.